Hey everyone, Jennifer Lee Chan here from NBC Sports Bay Area. The 49ers completed, I can't even talk, good Lord. Okay. They closed out their third day of the second block of practices. So, second day in pads, 3 days in this block. Tomorrow, Wednesday, they are off. There were a few absences that are a little bit concerning, and we don't know why they were out yet. So, Ricky Pearsall was on a rest day, so that's understandable. He's making his way back from a hamstring injury. They don't want to overwork him. So Ricky Pearsall was out. Jordan James was out. Don't know why. Deommodore Lenoir also out. We don't know why. Um, Michael Williams, minor ankle injury is what they're saying. But outside of that, we don't know anything else about that. Juwan Jennings still out with a calf injury. Jacob Cowing still out with a hamstring injury, and also Renardo Green. So Jacob Cowing, again, if you're just tuning in, Jacob Cowing and Renardo Green expected to be back in a couple weeks, maybe before the Raiders joint practices. Outside of that, Jordan Elliott did return to practice. So we did see him in the mix. But again, Michael Williams out. So second day of one-on-ones, which was, they're always fun to watch. Again, CJ West dominated in his reps. There was one play where he did not actually win, and it was more like a standoff. Actually, offensive lineman Drew Moss, who kind of held CJ West off. They were kind of in a standstill. So CJ West did not get to the quarterback area. But outside of that, he still, again, dominated. And like in the last video, I said, he's got to make it translate to actual play on the field. He did. And so he actually got into the backfield, not against the first team, but he was out there with the second and third, kind of rotationally. He did get into the backfield, got pressure on the quarterback. So good to see CJ West not just blow up a guy in one-on-one drills when the defensive line has the advantage, but also in team drills when the offensive line can kind of scheme or stunt or do different things. They don't know what's coming. So CJ West, I think, is going to be a real impact player for the 49ers going forward. Michael Williams, again, did not practice today. Alfred Collins had some good news. I think he's getting there. I think like Robert Saleh said, he missed all of OTAs, he missed mini camp. So it's going to be a little bit for him to kind of get caught up. But he did have some good moves. He had a spin move, and again against Drew Moss, he won that. I don't know why Drew Moss was out there so much, but I think he matched up with the rookies a little bit more. So Alfred Collins spin move beat Drew Moss. Saw Bryce Huff quite a bit. He was pretty splashy as well. He used a spin move. Nick Bosa did a spin move. Nick Bosa and Colton McKivitz matched up 3 times in a row. Nick Bosa clearly won the first one, spun around. Colton McKivitz was on the ground. The second one, Nick Bosa slipped, and so they redid it. And on the second one, I would give it to Colton McKivitz. It was a standoff, kind of like that hold. Like Nick Bosa couldn't get around to the quarterback, but he did have some push, but not all the way to where the quarterback was standing. So kind of a stalemate. The 49ers did add a defensive lineman, and that is Jalen Allen to the mix. And he actually flashed a lot in practice today. So Jalen Allen is taking the place of Teron Jackson. Teron Jackson was placed on IR for the neck injury. Remember, he was transported the other day after a pretty violent hit. I didn't see it, but it was a hit and it was his neck. So they're being careful with him. He was released from the hospital back at the facility yesterday, but they're going to be careful with him. So Teron Jackson goes on IR, and the 49ers sign Jalen Allen. Not Josh Allen, but Jalen Allen. But he and Bryce Huff spent time together at Memphis, and Bryce Huff was very impressed with what Jalen did during practice day. He said he's an explosive player. He loves to work. Today he had a great day. And he said, I haven't seen him play in a minute because we were on different teams, but that's the most explosive I've seen him since I've known him. So it was good to see. So new blood on the defensive line. Again, at practice, defense kind of dominated again. The defensive line was in the backfield a lot. I think Nick Bosa is set for a big season. He was in the backfield a ton, like on the first 5 plays facing Brock Purdy, number ones out there. except for maybe at left guard next to Trent Williams. Trent Williams out there, he was kind of bouncing back on both sides, but Nick Bosa was in the backfield over and over again. I think in the first in the first 5 plays, Nick Bosa had pressure at least 3 times. D Winters got back there a little bit. This defense, I think, could be really good. Now, they need to get pressure up front because the secondary is not as strong. I know a lot of you have asked, hey, can we see the secondary on videos? The way the fields are set up, and I know they're going to adjust them, where they have most media is on the far field away from defensive backs. So to walk around, there's a little tiny area where you can stand and watch the defensive backs. And then the other side is the full length of the field. So you can see offense, running backs, wide receivers, defensive line. So that's why I haven't posted much video of defensive backs, but I'll get over there on Thursday, Friday, or Saturday next week. So there were, again, a lot of defensive standout plays. One that stood out is, Jalen Allen getting back for a sack. Nick Martin had a great hit, and they're not supposed to hit that hard, but it was one of those hits on Patrick Taylor where everyone was like, oh, and the defense was jumping up and down. So Nick Martin could get some time. He's going to be competing with D Winters for that linebacker position next to Fred Warner. So we'll see what happens there. So, I mean, pretty impressive day for him. And another great defensive play was by Luke Gifford, linebacker, intercepted. Where is it here? He intercepted Brock Purdy, and it was a pass intended for, I'm not sure who. Brock Purdy was on a scramble. He thought about checking it down to Christian McCaffrey. He ran out of the pocket, and Luke Gifford stayed with him, kept his eyes on him. And when Brock kind of threw the ball out, Luke Gifford caught the ball. So that was one interception for Brock today. Outside of that, no other turnovers from Brock Purdy. There were, let's see, so with Jordan James out, we did see a little bit more of Corey Kiner, a little bit more of Isaac Orendo, Patrick Taylor. So those are the guys who were taking the ball out of the backfield. Let's see what else we have here. Did see Christian McCaffrey take a decent amount of balls, decent amount of carries. A funny moment was when Mac Jones threw a ball to Junior Bergen. There was a flag. It was an incomplete, and we all thought it was defensive pass interference on Chase Lucas. Chase Lucas is jumping up and down, no. And then George Kittle runs out on the field and is like yelling at the ref in his George Kittle way. But apparently it ended up being OPI instead of DPI. So fun moment in camp. Those are always funny. Outside of that, the scariest moment of the day was when Jordan Elliott the defensive line got a lot of pushed everyone back. Jordan Elliott fell and rolled onto Brock Purdy's ankle, and Brock Purdy went down into the grass. And all of us were like, oh. So Brock Purdy kind of bounced up after a moment or two, making sure he was okay, and then continued the practice. So thankfully he's okay. It's just a feisty practice. Feisty practices. Fred Warner was out there yelling at people. He was yelling at Isaac Orendo, who carried the ball once. He's like, tried to punch it out. He's like, give me that. So, I mean, it's spicy out there. Darrell Luter had a great play. He broke up a pass from Brock Purdy that was intended for Russell Gage. Darrell Luter had the best play of the day, though, the best offensive play. So Darrell Luter had a great pass breakup. The very next play, Brock Purdy, deep ball to Jordan Watkins, and he was the closest guys to him were Darrell Luter and Jason Pinnock, and Brock Purdy dropped the ball right into the perfect spot, and it would have been a huge gain, 35, 40 yards, maybe a touchdown. That was probably the best pass of the day. But yes, CJ West got some pressure later in practice on Mac Jones. He was on a scramble. It's because CJ West was in the back. There was a little bit of a fight, though. The first fight of the practice, I guess, since pads went on, there was a little scuffle before. Was it Juwan and Diameter Lenore? But CJ West got in a little fight. It might have been Nugent or Hennessy, one of the offensive linemen. So CJ West was getting up there. Fred Warner was in there breaking it up. So that was kind of the highlight of the scuffle of the day. Later, Tanner Mordecai took the ball. Jalen Allen, nice tackle for a loss. Again, Nick Bosa later in the period got pressure. Kyle Juszczyk was involved a lot. And outside of that, oh, there was one fun play. Foreigners don't blitz a whole lot in practice, but they definitely did in practice today. Trey Brown, who kind of took the spot of Renardo Green because he's out, Deommodore Lenoir was out. So you had Stout in there at nickel. You had Trey Brown there on outside corner. They were kind of rotating guys on the other side. So Trey Brown actually on a corner blitz got in and sacked Mac Jones. Ball was intended for Jake Tongas, but nice cornerback blitz. At the end of the practice, one thing that CJ West did a really good job at is he appeared that he jumped off the ball. It was maybe offsides or neutral zone infraction. And the refs came in and said, no, it was apparently on the offensive side. It was false start by the offense. And CJ West was like, see? So good on him to know when and when not to jump off the ball. Brock Purdy had a good day, not, nothing stand out. It was, here and there. I think the defense really has more of an advantage at this point in the game. So everything's kind of rolling along as usual. As soon as I know anything about Deommodore Lenoir, Jordan James, why those guys were absent, I will let you know. But outside of that, kind of a normal day of practice, a few less reps than we saw on Monday, just because they kind of taper off a little bit. Again, Thursday, they'll come back, pads, lighter day practice. Friday will be the heavier day at practice. And then Saturday, again, they'll taper off. So that's pretty much it. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I'll probably put together another video tomorrow. Day off for everybody, players, coaches on Wednesday, day off, no practice, but I'll be taking a look at my notes and giving you more updates. All right. Let me know in the comments who you'd like me to drop videos of player-wise in the chat. Leave it there, and then I'll try to post as many short videos as possible. Hope you guys are well. Happy Tuesday. Talk to you soon.